Hello and good evening. How are you? It is time for number 4 in our successful sales series. I'm so excited, but also a little bit sad. We're coming to the tail end. We're almost up to number 5. And tonight is all about sureness, which is your certainty that you can help your client and that you have a really great product to sell them as well. And this is a really important topic because ultimately your client is buying your sureness that you can help them. And generally, our clients are in a place of uncertainty or they're not sure about which product or service to go with. Otherwise, they would have already purchased, right? So, this topic is really about how do we exceed our customers' lack of certainty. So, we need to be more sure than they are that we have the right solution, that we're the right person to be able to help them. And this is, of course, the Successful Sales series, and it's the C.R.U.S.H model we're talking about, and it is the S in C.R.U.S.H, which is sureness. And I'll come to a little bit of that later for those of you who are joining us for the first time. Welcome. For those of you who are back, welcome. Either way, I'm so excited to be seeing and hearing from you all on this webinar. So let's get straight into it. And let's start with why sales? God, I love sales. Not everybody loves sales. I appreciate that not everyone loves sales. I love sales. I've been in sales for more than 10 years, and I believe that sales is the fundamental best way for us to be able to help our clients. I don't believe in customer service. I believe in sales. I think customer service is lack of service. I think customer service is a detriment to our client. I know that sounds very controversial. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to save that perspective for another webinar because we've got so much amazing content to get through tonight. So let's keep moving. Why sales? Well, why? Why indeed? Why sales? Sales, I believe, is noble. And I appreciate that's probably, you don't hear those two words side by side very often, but I believe sales is noble. I think it is one of the best things that you can dedicate your life to because fundamentally it is a human experience of two people connecting and one serving and helping the other. That's what I believe sales is. And everyone sells. If you have a business, you're going to sell your product or service, and you also to your clients. If you have an idea, you need to be able to sell it. This might mean that you're in an organization where you're wanting to influence and compel other people to do what you think is best for the organization. I had this question actually come up recently in a meetup. Every now and again, we get together face to face. And my good friend Grev asked an amazing question, which was, can the principles that we are learning be applied to selling an idea? Because we were talking about sales as in selling a product or service, but he raised a very important point. These skills, these principles are absolutely applicable to influencing and compelling others with ideas as well. And that's so important. And that might be a loved one. It might be a colleague. If you're going to be successful in the endeavors that you apply yourself to, then you need to be able to know how to frame yourself, how to influence others, how to compel others. So everyone sells, whether you like it or not. And I appreciate that not everyone likes to sell. I appreciate not everyone loves sales. But hang around long enough, and hang around me specifically long enough, you will love sales. And tonight, I'm going to share with you a couple of reasons why you should love sales, or you will love sales by the end of this webinar. And if you don't, then you need to get in touch with me, because sales is just so many beautiful things, contrary to sometimes popular opinion. I'm trying to break through those barriers with the Sydney Sales Meetup. So welcome. I know you're all members. Thank you so much for joining and showing up to our community. This meetup started, more than 12 months ago now, and it has grown over 600 members just this week. Hooray! Yay, let's do a little clap. Thank you very much for those of you out there. I can hear the applause. I'm feeling the love. Thank you very much. And it's because of you guys that we're here. This community was started to bring together awesome people who wanted to learn how to sell, who wanted to know how to be elegant salespeople that weren't pushy, that weren't, hardcore closer and all of those things that, really I don't like about aspects of some people and the way that they approach sales. And I wanted to take an opportunity to tell you about a half-day workshop that we're having, the Be More Awesome Sales Mastery. This is really for people who are new to sales, who want to take their sales to another level. I noticed there's only 2 spots left, so I did actually open it up just now to 8 more, I think, because it's quite popular. So I've got a little bit of wiggle room, but we'll have to see how the numbers go. So if you're thinking about attending, please don't think too long. Make sure you jump on. It's a half-day sales mastery. You'll have a great opportunity to network, but also to learn how to be a natural-born salesperson, really. So we'll be covering a lot in that half-day training. It's at the fabulous WeWork building in Piedmont, so I'd love to see you all there. But essentially, we started this meetup just to bring like-minded people together so that we could be awesome together, learn sales together, and be elegant and share and contribute to one another. The next events, here we are, part 4 of 5 already on the Tuesday the 26th, the half-day event on the 7th of October, and of course the final Successful Sales Strategies. Don't miss that one on the 11th of October, but if you do, don't panic, because I am recording all of these and making them available to you on our YouTube channel as well. A little bit about me. I am an expert sales mentor. Apparently 10 plus years in sales training and mentoring makes me an expert, and I'm okay with that. So that's over 10,000 hours of sales mentoring and training. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs with over $16 million in revenue and counting. What I love about the techniques that we share is that it's compoundable. You make $1 today, but that keeps compounding. The skills that you learn just make you a stronger, better, faster salesperson. I'm a leader at the Coaching Institute, founder of Sydney Sales Meetup, and the creator of the Be More Awesome at Sales online course, which I'm really excited about. And of course, I am an awesome human. Why? Because I choose to. And why not? Why not just be an awesome human? In my experience, sales really comes down to 2 things: being sales fit and having a really great sales kit. So sales fit refers to our mindset, and that's really what we're discovering in this Successful Sales Strategies That Win series. Is the CR.U.S.H model: curiosity, resilience, unlimited beliefs, sureness, and hustle with heart. So up to sureness here, this is where we're up to. And we delve into each of these in great detail. So if you've missed any of it, fear not, they're all recorded. Get in touch with me and I can make sure that you receive a copy. And the other aspect is to have a really great sales kit. So this is the tools and techniques that you use as a salesperson to identify, solve, and outline next steps for our clients. So it's as simple as that. That's the sales process that I have used for many, many years. And I like to keep it really, really simple. Sorry, let me rephrase. I like to keep it really simple. 3 steps, not 10, not 13, not 56. 3 simple steps to sales success identifying what it is that your client needs, solving their problem, and outlining next steps. The way that I make sure that that process is very effective, the technique that I layer on each of those steps is derived from eDisc. And we're not going to go into eDisc in any detail tonight, except to say that it is a way to understand your client, the way that they speak, understand you, the way that you roll. And that really helps us make sure that we're languaging things in a way that our client understands, that resonates with them, and to make sure that we have rapport. And it makes it very easy to help our client move through the sales process. There are plenty of other webinars for that. There are whole meetups dedicated to eDisc as well. And if you have any questions about that, any of that, you can always get in touch with me as well. But we're not talking about Sales Kit tonight at all. We're focusing purely on sales fit, having a great mindset. The agenda for tonight is the Successful Sales Series, part 4 of 5. It's the S in crush. Ultimate outcome is more money, more clients, and to be more awesome. I trust that you're into all of those things, whatever that means to you. More money, more clients, and to be more awesome. That's why we're here, and that's the ultimate outcome for this discussion. How to sack the marrow. Ask for the slides. Just shoot me an email. My email is at the bottom left. Implement. Make sure that you apply what you learn tonight. The most selfish way to learn tonight is to teach someone else. So please share this information, share it amongst a colleague. Go book a meeting with your CEO tomorrow and share this information with him or her. Take lots of notes and get uncomfortable. And the reason I say get uncomfortable is because if you're comfortable, you are not learning. And I really think it's important that you learn, don't you think? Wouldn't you agree? That's why you're here, I assume, anyway, is that you want to learn and you want to be better at what you do. And in order to do that, you need to get a little bit uncomfortable. So that means if you're uncomfortable, you're learning. So when you apply the things that we share here tonight, you want to make sure that you're feeling slightly uncomfortable about it. That means you're stretching your comfort zone and becoming bigger, better, faster, stronger, which is what we want out of this awesome community. It is my gift to you. It's valued at $97, but it's free today because I can tell you I attended so many free trainings. I had so much mentorship when I was growing as a sales person many, many years ago, and I want to contribute back, pay that forward. If you like, I also want to demonstrate my skills, knowledge, and abilities and help you decide if you want to continue to engage. I'd love to see you at a further meetup. The webinars have been extremely popular, so we will be having more of those. And ultimately to build a movement of awesome salespeople, and I'd love you to be a part of that. If you get value from tonight, make sure you put at least one idea into action. And I'd love to hear from you if you apply some of these things. Does it work? Does it not work? What were your learnings? I would love to hear from you. So please keep me posted. Tell people in Facebook how wonderful it is. Share the learnings, share the advice, share the knowledge. Join the Facebook community as well. We have a Sydney Sales Facebook community, and share your learnings amongst everyone. And come to Sydney Sales Meetup events as well. I'd love to see you there. I know we've got an awesome community of people. And of course, you can also hire me as well. Sales fit is what we're talking about tonight, and it's all about sureness. So curiosity, resilience, unlimited beliefs we have discussed in the previous 3 webinars. And if you want more on those, email me or jump onto our YouTube channel. But we're after sureness. So what is sureness? Sureness is certainty that you can help your client with your product or service. Now, excuse me. Worst timing, but I feel like I need to sneeze. No, I was going to sneeze, but it's gone. Okay. That was the worst timing ever. So sureness is certainty that you can help your client with your product or service. That's what sureness is. Will your client buy if they are unsure? If they're not certain, are they going to buy? Yeah, that's it. Probably not. Your client, nobody buys anything if they're uncertain. It feels icky. They'll make an excuse. I need to talk to my partner. Oh, I need to check my bank. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I need to think about it. They'll make a bunch of excuses because they're unsure. So, really, the sales process is as simple as moving our client from uncertainty to certainty, from unsureness to sureness. So if your clients are sure that you can help them with your product or service, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Your clients will buy. If they're not sure, they won't. So really, it's simple as you need to make your clients certain that you can help them with your product or service. How you do that is it's a lot easier said than done, right? So we're going to get into that a little bit in this amazing, we've got lots of content, so let's keep moving. Sales is essentially moving your client from uncertainty to certainty. If they're certain that you can help them, they'll buy. If they're not certain, they won't. It's as simple as that. Ultimately, they're buying you and your certainty that you can help. I'm going to say that again, they're buying you and your certainty that you can help. I want to pose this to you. If your client has never experienced your product or service before, there's always, and I'm going to say always, an element of doubt about whether or not it's the right thing. Until they actually experience it and try it and work it out, then they know. But until that time, there's an element of uncertainty. So your certainty that the product can help or the service can help your client must outweigh your client's uncertainty. Ultimately, they're buying you and your certainty that the product is right, that the service is right. That's what they're ultimately buying if we really want to cut to the chase. So there's a couple of things that are involved in that. You need to be sure of you. You need to be sure of your client, and you need to be sure of your product or service. And that's what we're really going to break down here, those three things. So let's begin. Let's go hard. Let's go straight in. We're going to go straight to the, I don't know, do we call it the gullet, the heart of the issue, the elephant in the room? I don't know what. Let's go hard, people. We might as well go hard or go home. Yes. It's all about sureness of you. And I find in my 10,000 plus hours of sales coaching, this was the number one thing holding people back. It wasn't their lack of knowledge of their product or service. It wasn't the client. It was almost always the fear that they have of themselves, of not being able to of succeeding, fear of the situation, a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to spend some time on this, and I love that we're just going straight for the elephant in the room, the sureness of you. This is about backing yourself. As a salesperson, your customer is buying or your client is buying certainty that you can help. You need to be sure of you. That, I think, is probably the hardest thing. So let's go there first. I don't know, would you agree, disagree? I don't know. Isn't that the hardest thing, is to know that you are amazing, that you can nail it, that you are the answer? My thousands of hours of sales coaching is that people, their fundamental limiting factor is a lack of belief in themselves, and that there's no room for that in sales. Now, let's talk about how you can be certain of you, be sure of you. And there's a couple of things. And I'd love you to play with this over the coming weeks and really dedicate yourself to learning how to back yourself and to be fearless. I'm going to say that again. Be fearless. And I don't mean in a way that isn't self-preserving, but in the context of sales. You can be fearless and still preserve your life. Nobody ever died from selling anything, okay? So let's just get that clear. You've got nothing really to be afraid of except fear itself. So let's break this down. In the preceding webinars, we have talked about curiosity, resilience, unlimited beliefs, those three things. In order to be sure of you, curiosity is absolutely paramount. Resilience is paramount, and unlimited beliefs is paramount. We talked about curiosity coming from a place of love. If you come from a place of love, you cannot experience fear. And if you want more information about that, or if you don't believe me, then you need to go back and watch that webinar and get in touch with me and ask some questions. But if you are being curious, and this is why I love C.R.U.S.H so much, if you're being curious, you cannot experience fear-based emotions. Resilience, we talked about that in webinar number 2, how to build a muscle of resilience. If your resilience, look, fear, doing things that are unknown to you, which is where fear comes from. Fear then develops from things that are unknown. If you know things, you very seldom experience fear, but if it's something unknown to you, you experience fear. So, I'm just going to sort of throw it out there that, the journey of being a human, if you want to grow and succeed and be bigger, better, faster, stronger, is a journey of doing things that are unfamiliar to you, that are unknown, stretching your comfort zone. And in order to move through that elegantly, you're going to need to build a resilience muscle. Resilience is definitely, curiosity is definitely an antidote to fear. So if you want more on resilience, and I suggest, if you missed that webinar, go back and watch it. Because that will go a long way to serve you in moving through fear, and ultimately just being very certain of you and knowing how to back yourself. And of course, unlimited beliefs are key. And what do I mean by this? I mean, in my experience, fear comes from beliefs that that are fundamentally not serving to be certain. For example, I'm not good enough, or nobody. No, I don't know how to sell, or I'm not a salesperson, or sales is sleazy, or I don't like to ask for money, or any of those things. Like literally, lots of beliefs that came to my attention through my coaching that were holding people back from being certain of themselves. You do deserve to be paid for what you do. Absolutely. And your client deserves to pay. There's a privilege in paying for something. Free stuff is not as valuable as things that you pay for. That sounds a bit strange, but that's just the way it is, and that's human psychology. And you deserve to be paid. So, it's worthwhile going back and visiting these webinars and making sure that you've got these 3 things if you missed them before we move forward to sureness. So it's definitely the C.R.U.S. in C.R.U.S.H. And our next webinar deals with the H, which is hustle with heart, which I absolutely love. But we've got to keep moving, so we'll save that gold for another time. Focus. Moving from a place of uncertainty about you to a place of certainty and comfort of you is about what you're focusing on. What do you say to yourself? What do you focus on? So when you're in a sales situation, are you focused on the client, or are you focused on you? If you're focused on you, this is my experience, and I'm happy to be wrong, but I haven't found that, which is if you're focused on you, generally what's happening is fear. You're focused on, oh my God, what if I say the wrong thing? Oh my God, what if they say no? What if they say yes? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't get it right? What if they hate me? What if I have, I don't know, lettuce in my teeth? What if, this happened to me actually in a sales meeting, which is I had my top button undone and my underwear was showing. It was so embarrassing. What if that happens? Oh my God, am I going to die? No, you're not. So stop it. What are you focused on? If you're focused on you, that's generally where fear loves to hang out. Fear comes into its own. It loves hanging out in a place where you're focused on yourself. Fear doesn't hang out when you're focused on someone else and helping them. It's really hard. Fear doesn't like that. Fear hates that. Fear's like, no, no, come, look at me, look at how you're stupid and you're dumb and you're going to say stupid shit, so that fear can feel good about itself, so that it has a purpose for being there. Focusing on your client is extremely inconvenient to fear. It's very hard for fear to have breath and life if you're not focused on it. So shift your focus, focus on your client. You'll be amazed how difficult it is to feel fear if you're focused on your client. And if fear has not got a voice and not got a place, guess what exists? Love. And maybe I'm going a little bit too far here, but a manifestation of love is sureness of you. When was the last time you were frightened and completely certain that you were going to squash the monster? Never. That doesn't happen. But what does happen is when you are focused on someone else and you're focusing how you can help them, that's a love-based emotion, and you experience love for you too. It's funny how it works, but give it a crack. So focus on your client. Where is your focus? It needs to be on your client, not on you. And I'm touching on this theme, which is fear versus love. And I'm going to delve into that a little bit more. And what I mean by love really is certainty, is sureness, but a love-based emotion versus fear-based emotions. And I want to talk about where fear comes from and where uncertainty comes from. And this is a model about how to smash through uncertainty. And I'm going to explain this. How to smash through uncertainty, how to smash through fear, how to smash through being uncertain about you, your client, your product, whatever it is, but how to smash it is this model here. So if you see here, we've got a crossroads. We've got choice about what we choose to focus on. We can choose to focus on fear. Now, whenever we're faced with a scenario of stepping forward, of doing something, we often judge ourselves based on what's right or wrong. And look, this comes from the way that we're brought up at school. You know, it was embarrassing to get an answer wrong, right? You always wanted to be right, and your parents probably taught you that it was bad to be wrong, and that you should always try to be right. And school manifests that in us, like the red cross versus the smiley face. You're wrong or you're right. And there's a fear around being wrong. And I find this actually manifests itself in a sales meeting where you're fearful of getting it wrong. You're fearful of fucking it up. Excuse the language, but I'm just going to go with that because that's really what it is. You're fearing making a mistake. And that's where you get nervous about you and whether you can help. And it's difficult to sell you. It's difficult to sell the products. It's difficult to solve the problem for the client because you're in a space of fear and you're worried about getting it wrong. Now, we don't have time to go into this in this webinar, but when you're worried and focused on getting it wrong, your brain does all sorts of amazing things to inhibit you from doing anything. Your brain is there to protect you, to preserve you from dying. Remember, you're not going to die from this. But that's not how the brain sees it. It sees fear as in, I need to preserve and protect the human body. It doesn't know that you're not going to die. It just sees danger and it needs to protect you. This is your brain protecting you. So fear emerges from the idea of getting it wrong. And this is what prevents most people from moving forward in anything. Now, there's an alternate way to think about this. That's fear speaking. What if love had a crack? What if love was speaking? What if there was no wrong and no right, but only right? Okay, I'm going to have to slow down here because I can hear some of you freaking out. What do you mean? There can't only be right, right? There has to be a right way and a not so right way, or a better way. And even if I don't use the words wrong or right, there should be a right way. And if there's a right way, then it sort of presupposes that there's a way that isn't right. I want to pose this to you, and this is a real shift in thinking. And again, get in touch with me if you want to challenge this. I'd love to hear from you, which is, if you take one path, what happens? You have moved, you have taken a step, and either way, there's an outcome, one way or another. But whatever the outcome is, the worst case scenario is that you've learned something. And if you take option number 2, the worst case scenario is that you've learned something. Movement, one way or another, making progress, taking a step forward, is always right, because there will always be a learning, there will always be movement, there will always be forward direction. So there are no wrong choices in sales. There is only movement forward. There is only learning. How's that for a concept? And I want you to just try that on for a sec, because I know this is challenging. I know this is not familiar, because we've grown up with, but I don't want to make a mistake, but it's not serving. It doesn't work. If you are fearful of getting it wrong, you won't move forward. Fear stops you from moving forward. That's what your brain is designed to do. If you're worried about getting it wrong, your brain doesn't know that you're not going to die. Your brain thinks, I need to preserve the body. So I'm not going to take a step forward because I might get it wrong and then I might die. That's what your brain is telling you. I kid you not. It's called the amygdala. It's there to preserve your life. But beautiful thing about humans is that we can override this with our neocortex. And I know I'm getting really really complex with the human brain, but this is really what we're talking about here is, what we believe and how we roll. And how to smash through uncertainty is to subscribe to the idea that there are no wrongs, there is only right. That you can only move forward, and at the worst case scenario will be a learning. And from the learning, you will grow and you will be bigger and better and faster and stronger. Are we getting this message? I'm getting a couple of questions. So I'm just going to see if I can flick over. Yeah, beautiful. Love it. Bring it on. Outstanding. Thank you, Tamara. Yeah, let's do that. Outstanding. Bring it on. Yeah. There's only right decisions, and it comes from love. Okay. Let's talk about sureness of your client. Your sureness must exceed your client's unsureness. If you're sure and they're sure, then guess what happens? People buy. Oh my God. It's funny how that works. If you're not sure, your client will never be sure, ever, no matter what. If you're unsure, your client will never be sure, because they will know that you're uncertain and they'll pick up on it, and they won't want to buy because they will be uncertain. Your client's certainty will never exceed yours. You always need to be more certain than them. So your sureness must exceed your client's unsureness. You need to look for positive evidence and beware of your focus. Now, one of the things that I used to do is make a mistake that, oh my God, please don't do this. I used to do this when I was new to sales, is I knew clients. I knew who was going to buy and who wasn't. And oh, what a big fat lie that was. I had no flipping idea. So, you want to focus on the idea that people buy. Has anybody in history of all time bought the product or service that you're offering, even if it's not from you? Have they ever? If the answer is yes, then you have no reason to believe that anyone won't. Other people do, which presupposes that other people will. And you are kidding yourself if you want to tell yourself a story that there are clients who will never buy, okay? Because other people will, or have, then other people will. And you need to focus on that stuff. If you focus, where focus goes, energy flows, and you'll be funny how your results speak to that focus. if you focus on what's not happening, you will get a not happening business. That happened to me for almost 12 months of my first initial experience of sales. I was totally focused on what wasn't happening, who wasn't buying, what bookings I wasn't getting, what commissioning I wasn't making. And guess what happened? My results sucked. Made 100 grand. I turned over 100 grand that year. And I'm on commission, right? So I didn't earn 100 grand. I just turned that over. The following year, it was $1 million because I stopped focusing on what wasn't happening and started focusing on, you know what, I'm just going to look for my people that are going to buy. And someone will. It might not be the person in front of you, but you know what, who cares? Someone will. It's just a fact. So make sure that you realize that the statistics of sales speak always. I have never known for someone not to make any sales. Somebody always buys. It's just a matter of numbers. So make sure that you're very aware of what you're focusing on. Focus on the positive evidence that people are going to buy. And be curious. What's possible? What's possible for this client? What's possible for my product? What's possible for me? And you'd be amazed if you come from that perspective. What is possible for this client? Imagine how you will be serving them if your focus is what is possible for them. Oh my God, there's so much power and so much beauty. Imagine the magic. It's amazing. So be curious. What is possible for my client? Because believe me, you're asking yourself that question, you will be able to serve them in a way they will never have thought, because that's not their question. Their question is, how do I protect and preserve myself? And you're asking the opposite, the love-based question, which is what's possible, and the amazing gifts you can give your client if that's where you're coming from. It's just a shift in mindset. That's all it is. It's just what you focus on and what you think, what you believe. And of course, sureness of your product or service. Now, this isn't always easy. And, the number one question I've got to ask you is, would you buy it? Because it's really difficult to be sure of something or certain of something if you wouldn't buy it for yourself, or you don't believe that it's a product that's worth selling. Now, if you're in that situation, you've got two choices: stop selling that product or start believing that it's worthwhile. That's all there is to it. You've got to know that you would buy it, and it might not be for you, but you got to believe that that your product or service serves somebody. And it might not be you, but you've got to know who that person is serving. So you've also got to know your competitors and know your resources as well. That will give you a lot of certainty in your product. It isn't about knowing everything about your product and service. And it isn't even necessarily knowing everything about your competitors either. But if you know where to find information, if your customers or clients ask questions, or you get into a scenario where you don't know, if you are confident that you know your resources, you know where to find information, that gives you a lot of sureness. You might not be sure that you can help your client right now in this instant, this moment, this very second, but you're sure you can find out. You can always be sure of that. So you've got to know your resources. It helps to know your competitors, about how you stack up. And you gotta want to be able to buy it or know who's going to buy it and be in tune with them and why they would buy, even if it's not for you, which is cool. If it's not for you, that's cool. You just got to believe that it's for someone else and know your client. Is that fair? I think that's fair. Yeah. All right. So next steps: put your 60-day plan into action, put an idea into action. Success comes from incredible implementation. Make sure you pick a quick win today, and I am here to help you. I trust all that serves. Come to us to a meetup. The next one is the Successful Sales Series on the 11th of October. That's the final webinar. But we have a live event on the 7th of October, and I'd love to see you all there as well. It's a half-day mastery. You've got to attend. So get onto the meetup and register for that. I'm offering all of you a 45-minute discovery session with me. We can check out your sales plan, health check you, see how you're going, and that's free for you. So get in touch and book in. We'll hang out with each other for a bit and stir up your sales, get you to that next level. And of course, for successful discovery session attendees, I'm offering free for life by qualified online program, Be More Awesome Sales Mastery Program. Free. It's a pilot program. It's valued at $97 per month for life, free if you qualify. There's powerful sales content. It's online mentoring, a program. You get direct access to me to bounce ideas, regular updates. You can do your eDisc sales diagnostic. We haven't talked about eDisc at all tonight. That's valued at $550. Or you can work with me one-on-one starting at $750. Or just get in touch with me. Come and hang out with us. BeMoreAwesome.com.au is my website. Give me a buzz. I'd love to hear your feedback. And thank you so much for tonight. I trust you've had value. So good night, everybody, and enjoy.